Hello, welcome to Book Club Shmook Club. I'm Kristen.
I'm William.
And we're here to talk about The Woman in Cabin 10 by Ruth Ware.
That's right. A mystery book. Mm-hmm. Kind of a classic mystery book.
Yes.
A
little Agatha-Christe-ish.
A little bit, yeah. It reminded me of a lot of other mystery stories that I've read or seen in movies and stuff, but it felt like
I feel like it's not impossible we could see this in a movie.
Yeah, I was absolutely thinking that.
Yeah.
This felt to me... for people who aren't aware, actually, we should just say that this show we're doing both as a YouTube show and as a podcast on iTunes and Stitcher and everything. So if you want, you can also watch along with us on YouTube. But what I was going to say was we're also doing a new thing. We kind of have a new...
Yeah, a little bit of a new format.
Yeah, we're getting into a new groove.
Yeah.
So what we're going to do when we talk about this book, especially because this is a mystery, but for all books going forward... You guys already know if you listen to Book Club, Shmook Club, that we're going to be doing a book all together from now on. We used to do it in 2 parts. We're currently experimenting with doing the whole shebang at once. And that means that we want to stress now more than ever that we do eventually get into spoilers.
Yes, definitely.
And,
so
yeah.
Just beware. Part of the thing about this show that's nice is that I've talked to a lot of people who sometimes read the books, but also oftentimes don't read the books, but just like listening to us talk about it and just sum everything up.
Yeah.
So just know going in that if you listen to the whole episode, you're going to get it all summed up for you.
Exactly. And so the way that we're
all
going to...
the dirty details.
The way that we're going to run it from here on out is the beginning of the show will be our spoiler-free thoughts on the book. We did this for... what movie did we just see that we... Oh, Fantastic Beasts for our Potter Watch series.
Yeah.
We did a spoiler-free introduction. We give you a big old warning that we're about to talk about everything, and then we launch into it.
Yes.
And we're going to do the same thing right now. So The Woman in Cabin 10.
Okay, so I'm just going to read you guys the description from Amazon because that obviously will be spoiler-free.
Cool, yeah.
Okay, and then Will and I will tell you guys what we thought about it.
Yeah.
But in a, vague...
Yeah, we'll give our recommendation.
Yeah, exactly. Or will we?
Oh.
Okay. From New York Times bestselling author, it's weird that it doesn't say her. Okay, there we go. From New York Times bestselling author of the twisty mystery from Vulture novel In a Dark, Dark Wood comes The Woman in Cabin 10, an equally suspenseful and haunting novel from Ruth Ware, this time set at sea. In this tightly wound, enthralling story reminiscent of Agatha Christie's works. Oh, all right. Well, whatever.
Hey, we were right. That just means that we were right.
I also already read this though, so maybe it just. But it's also pretty obvious.
Nah,
okay.
We were right.
Yeah, yeah.
It was us.
I think we were right.
Maybe they listened to us and then wrote this. Yeah, probably.
Okay. In this tightly wound, enthralling story reminiscent of Agatha Christie's works, Lo Blacklock, a journalist who writes for a travel magazine, has just been given the assignment of a lifetime, a week on a luxury cruise with only a handful of cabins. The sky is clear, the water's calm, and the veneered select guests jovial as the exclusive cruise ship, the Aurora, begins her voyage in the picturesque North Sea. At first, Lo's stay is nothing but pleasant. The cabins are plush, the dinner parties are sparkling, and the guests are elegant. But as the week wears on, frigid winds whip the deck, gray skies fall, and Lo witnesses what she can only describe as a dark and terrifying nightmare. A woman being thrown overboard. The problem? Because that's not enough of a problem.
Yeah, exactly. So what's the problem with all this? Yeah. It's a dark and stormy night and she saw a woman get thrown overboard.
The problem, you ask?
What's to complain about?
The problem? All passengers remain accounted for, and so the ship sails on as if nothing has happened, despite Lo's desperate attempts to convey that something or someone has gone terribly, terribly wrong. This is written weird. Someone has gone terribly wrong?
Your plot synopses are so much better.
I don't know.
Like, they are. When you write them, they're better than this. You should write the plot synopses for Amazon.
Oh, I would love to have that job. I don't know how that happens.
Yeah.
With surprising twists, spine-tingling turns, and a setting that proves as uncomfortably claustrophobic as it is eerily beautiful, Ruth Ware offers up another taut and intense read in The Woman in Cabin 10, one that will leave even the most sure-footed reader restlessly uneasy long after the last page is turned.
Is that true? Did you feel that way?
I felt a little bit, confused somewhat.
I agree.
I don't know if I would say I was restlessly uneasy, but I was a little bit what happened exactly here?
Yes.
Yeah.
Totally agree. The twists and turns in this book are many.
They are.
They are legion. And yet, I wasn't totally enthralled by enchanted by many of them at all.
I liked the book.
So did I.
I would give it a recommend.
Well, here's the interesting thing. For a recommend, it's to me one of the underlying things there is, yeah, you should read this book.
Yeah.
But for everybody on the planet, there's a barrier between you and reading a book, and that's boom, the green stuff, dinero.
Oh, so you're saying it should be a recommend, like, should you spend money on this book?
I had never thought about it before until this book, because I enjoyed myself.
Yeah.
I enjoyed the book, but I don't know that I would really say to somebody,
You have to read this.
go spend your money to have this experience.
Well, I guess I would give it a soft recommend because I don't feel like it's a must read. Like, oh,
Right.
it's so great, you should really read this.
Right.
But it was pretty. I had a good time reading it, so I would recommend it.
Okay,
Yeah.
fair enough. I probably would tell people, like, yeah, if you can get it on sale,
Yeah.
if you have extra Audible credits, have at.
Yeah, totally.
But it's not the kind of thing that it's like, oh man, I'm waiting to get more Audible credits, or like, oh,
Yeah.
should I buy this book for $10?
I feel the same way.
Meh.
Yeah.
It felt to me like this book is sort of trying to be the next in line of all, the Girl on the Train, the Gone Girl, right? I felt like it's
Although-
trying to sort of be that genre,
Kind of, but I feel
especially
like-
Girl on the Train.
I have a really winner joke about that in my.
Oh, I can't wait.
What was I say? Oh, I think that everybody keeps jumping to things like that. And I don't think it's wrong necessarily. I think it's just because those were such huge hits. Now any mystery involving a woman is like Gone Girl or The Girl on the Train, kind of.
I can see
But there
that.
is a little bit more to The Girl on the Train because there's like a drinking element and like a
Yeah.
little bit of like an unreliable, not really an unreliable narrator, but like something of that in there. So it's a little
Yeah.
bit cleaner. But I feel like a lot of people are comparing things to those two books in particular. And I think it's just because it's like woman protagonist, murder plot.
I mean, maybe that's kind of true, but I wouldn't feel that way if we were. I mean, we just read Postmortem by Patricia Cornwell.
Yeah.
If we were reading any one of the, like Miss Marple mysteries or something like that,
Yeah, but that's
I
also
wouldn't feel the same way.
Well, I guess I just said anything where it's like a not investigator lady thrown into a murder thing. You know what I mean? Like these are just like normal women thrown into a
Sure,
thing.
but to be fair, I mean that is a currently booming subgenre.
Totally.
So I think it's an apt comparison.
I mean, it's a fine comparison. I just don't think I don't find it that apt.
For sure with the Girl on the Train.
Yes, completely. But in general, I feel like there are a lot of things where I've heard people be like, oh, it's like Gone Girl or it's like this. And I'm like, well, not really. It doesn't
Right.
seem like.
Well, the one thing that Gone Girl and the Girl on the Train had that this one doesn't, I think.
Girls. And this one has a woman.
Yeah, you're right. Too grown up.
Not a girl, not yet a woman.
Come on.
Okay.
Come on. I mean, if this was called The Girl in Cabin 10,
Completely.
and I mean, from a marketing perspective, wouldn't you have wanted to do that? Right?
Probably. No, because then more people would be like, oh, they're just trying to be the girl on the train.
Yeah, but sure, be the girl on the train. That it's getting
Yeah, but if
turned
you're
into
trying
a
to be like a
movie.
real serious author, like I'm sure you don't want to piggyback on that kind of stuff. You just
Fair
want to
enough.
like have your book stand on its own merit. And the other book she wrote was really good. Like I said, I read it. The one that I think we referenced in here called In a Dark, Dark Wood. That's
Yeah.
being made into a movie.
Okay.
I wouldn't, if I were an author and I wrote a book called The Woman in Cabin 10, they're like, let's call it The Girl in Cabin 10 because everybody really likes the girl on the train. I'd be like, no, I don't want to seem like a biter.
Yeah, fair enough. Okay. Yeah, I'm with you there.
Yeah.
But what Gone Girl and the Girl on the Train had that I think that this one doesn't is, and it does some of it. I won't get fully into it
Yeah.
here yet, but I feel like those other books go really hard into uncomfortable subject matter. Something here is really particularly sort of
Yeah.
like it makes your skin crawl, the kind of crime, the kind of like sadistic nature of what's going on.
Yeah.
Here, everything is a little more classic mystery.
Yes.
Where
Totally.
the horror elements here, the violence here isn't on display
Yeah,
so much,
completely.
really. And in that sense, it felt kind of like a classic mystery.
Yeah.
Something like that, a little lighter.
Yeah.
So yeah, I enjoyed the book. I was not blown away by it, especially to start. I felt like it was a very slow start. If you are going to read this book, give it time to burn because, especially in the beginning, it almost like lost my attention. But eventually, when the mystery really starts going, it's a lot of fun.
Yeah, totally.
So yeah,
the same way.
soft recommend.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Soft recommend. How far are we taking this like non-spoiler thing? Like, should we tell the person like?
I think we're done.
Yeah, but like, should we say what our next book is in case somebody really is just listening to that part and then?
Good question. That's interesting. No, I say that we maybe start doing announcements of what the next book is on social media.
Okay.
So we'll call it quits on the non-spoiler
Yeah.
stuff there. You know what we thought in general?
Yes.
Now let's get very specific.
Okay.
So this is your final warning. Spoilers from here on out.
If you don't want spoilers, get the heck out of here.
Get out of here!
Tell your story walking. Hit the bricks.
What? Did you forget the word bricks? That's
No, I was just being...
Hit the bricks!
I'm so overcome. Just get out of here.
Yeah. What are you still doing here?
Okay, beat
so
it, because I'm about to do my summary.
Here we go with spoiler time. The woman in cabin 10 will never be the same. Mm-hmm. Let's do it, Chris.
After it's gotten the Kristen Rogers Anderson treatment.
Oh, I can't wait. This is going to be so much better than Amazon.
I mean...
I'm telling you.
Okay. All right. The girl on the cabin 10, the woman in cabin 10.
Oh.
My little joke, combining this with the girl on the train. Ha ha, ha ha. Is about an unlikable woman named Lo. Did you not like her? Because I didn't care for her.
I hated her.
Okay, go ahead. Anyway, I'll go ahead. Is about an unlikable woman named Lo who goes on a cruise ship and is an ear witness to what she thinks is a murder in the cabin over from hers, where she hears a body-sized splash and sees a smudge of blood on the glass balcony overlooking the sea. But when she brings it up to the crew, she's told no one was occupying the next cabin over. How could that be when she had an interaction with a young girl in there? She even borrowed her mascara. Something stinks, and it ain't just the stinky ocean.
Oh, wow. Oh, boy.
Lo is poking around a bunch, sure, but she's partially egged on by weird happenings. She could maybe just write it off as her being crazy if someone didn't write "stop digging" on her steamy mirror or steal the mascara. But that means there's something to hide. Besides that, wait, what? Yeah, okay. Besides that, she really can't get any answers. Not from the crew or the other swanky guests. The only one who seems to take her claim seriously is the cruise's owner, Richard, whose hella rich wife, Anne, largely funds their lifestyle. She finally makes a little headway when she sees a picture of the woman she'd seen in the cabin on a photographer's camera, but then it's accidentally thrown into a hot tub. All the pictures ruined. What's going on here? Then Lo is thrown into hot water herself when she's knocked out and wakes up in a room down below all the other quarters, being slipped food through the door by whom she does not know. But she soon finds out. It's the woman from cabin 10! She exists! Her name is Carrie, and we find out that she is part of quite a far-fetched scheme. She's the owner, Richard's mistress, and she was snuck onto the boat without anyone else's knowing, which is why Lo seemed so crazy to everyone. Okay, this plan is so convoluted, I lose it a little bit here.
Yeah.
She was going to pose as Richard's wife, who has cancer, wears a headscarf, and I guess is gaunt enough, or has a gaunt enough appearance that if you're about her build and look gaunt, you can pass as her. But Richard's wife, Anne, was on the boat too. And Anne is the wife who has cancer. Richard's wife, Anne, was on the boat too. And Richard told Carrie that he told her about their affair, and she fell and hit her head and died. So Carrie threw her over the side of the boat and impersonated her for the rest of the trip. So wait, was the plan always that she would die, but she ended up doing it by accident instead of him murdering her? William, give a girl a hand.
Sloppy.
And then we'll move on.
Sloppy.
So what? Was there a plan to murder her together?
No.
Right. So what did Carrie think was going to happen?
Carrie was told that she would sneak onto the ship.
Right.
And be dressed like Richard's wife.
Right.
And at a certain point when Richard told Bin his wife storming off the ship and disappearing.
Okay.
And then Carrie could be herself on the boat as his new wife or something.
Okay.
It was something like that.
Okay. So like...
Because she definitely mentioned like, and then he and I could finally be together without having to hide.
Right. But like, why did she have all supplies and everything to make herself look like she had cancer when they went onto the boat? Like, why did she have like wax and... Like, what? There's something I feel like I missed.
I don't know. Frankly, I felt like...
Because what's her name? Lo says that when she went to the door, that there was like... She was like, oh, that's why there was like shit everywhere, like tubes of stuff, because it was her makeup to make herself look sick. So, like, why did she have that if she thought she was just going to be herself on the boat with Richard?
I mean, maybe that you could explain that away, even though I don't think you should. Like, this is giving the book a favor it doesn't necessarily deserve. You could say that since she would frequently dress up like Richard's wife, like in real life off the ship and stuff, maybe they were just going to do it again.
Yeah.
So that if the wife wasn't feeling well, she was staying in for the night, well, then bingo, bango, bongo. Carrie dresses up like the wife, and she can go out to dinner with Richard on the ship.
Yeah, I guess. That's crazy.
It seems like the dumbest idea possible.
Yeah.
One of
Yeah.
the dumbest ideas possible. We're going to get into an even dumber idea very soon.
All right, so let me move on. Okay. Anyway, so where I'd left before Will and I went into what their plot was that this woman, Carrie, has Lo kind of like hostage. Anyway, over time, Lo kind of works on Carrie to get her to see that Richard is probably going to kill her too. And the two of them hatch another cockamamie scheme for now Lo to impersonate Anne, although they had to do it on the fly, so okay, I guess, to get off the boat to safety before he comes to kill her. And Carrie will just tell him that Lo attacked her and got away. It basically works. We'll get into it. The book ends with Lo finding out 2 bodies were found in the water, Richard's and Anne's, with the assumption that it was a murder-suicide, but she knows the real story. Also, she's wired a ton of money with a note that's an allusion to a convo she and Carrie had. So Carrie was able to get Richard/Anne's money and rebuild her life. Even though this might make it sound like I didn't like this book, I had a good time reading it / listening to it because we were listening to the audiobook. It had plot holes and odd ticks, but it kept me interested and with some pretty good world building of the boat and the different characters on it. It was kind of a locked room mystery, but with a twist, since what the mystery even wasn't clear cut. I give it 3 cruise ships out of 5.
It's funny. Now that we're really thinking about it, if you ask me how I feel about this book, and I remember what it was like to listen to it, because we both listened to it, I think, well, I had a good time. It's just kind of a classic mystery, simple mystery.
Yeah.
When you actually start to tell me and remind me of
Rapid
the
fire
actual
talk about the
specifics,
crazy pants plot.
It kind of annoys me because there's so much dumb shit happening in this book. So here's a weird thing. My recommendation is now worse. I think I may now not recommend this book.
Okay.
Because I totally fucking forgot that Carrie,
Yeah.
who already is able to dress up like another person perfectly.
Yeah.
You would look at them and think they were twins. It's so close.
Well, I guess was part of the thing that, like, he only took her places where people had never met Anne.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah.
Like they went to the movies and
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah.
So, yeah, cool. But, like,
Yeah.
I mean, we're also talking about, like, a ship full of people. And she's like, come on.
Yeah.
So Carrie takes Lo, the protagonist, hostage for, like, 5 days.
Yeah.
When they finally get along and Lo's going to sneak out, they swap clothes.
Yeah.
Like you said. So she's going to now dress up like Carrie.
Yeah.
As she's walking through the ship to try to find the money and stuff, there's a line where she's like, I looked in the mirror and Carrie's face was looking back at me.
I know.
No, it wasn't. She is not
Like, how
so
could all
good
these
at
people
makeup.
Look
Everyone looks the
so much
same.
like them, each other. Totally.
I hate it.
And you know what
I
was
hate
weird?
that.
Like, so I got stoked initially because there's a woman who's on the ship. So it's a really small cruise ship. There are only 12 people on it, I think it is. And one of them is really, really good at makeup because
yes.
because she says to Lo that she could help her with this like bruise that she has on her arm or something like that. And then Lo's like, oh no thanks. She's like, oh, I'm great at makeup. And then Lo sees her again without makeup or something, and she barely recognized her because she's like, oh, contouring works miracles. You have no idea. You could look like anybody. And I was like, okay. So by that point, we had known that there was a woman in cabin 10 and that she doesn't exist somehow. So I was like, so this lady, I think, either made herself up
Right.
totally differently, which was still ridiculous, but I was like on board with it because it was fun. I was like, so she like contoured the shit out of herself to look like another human.
Yeah.
And she's the woman in cabin 10, or she helped somebody else, which I was even more excited about. I was like, well, that's kind of fun. She's like an accomplice to help somebody else have like a different face.
Yeah.
And for some reason, I was more excited about the idea of Anne being the woman in cabin 10. I kind of thought at some point, I don't remember what was going on, that the makeup lady helped Anne get like all duded up, and she was the woman in cabin 10 somehow.
Oh, that's kind of interesting.
And even there were a couple points where I thought maybe Anne was the mastermind of
So
this. Like
that
when they found 2 bodies in the water, like at the very end, again, I don't remember, but something happened, or they said something where I was like, shit, was this like some sort of insane double cross that, or
Right.
not even double cross, but like something that we would never even see coming, and Anne is actually okay, and she found out about their plot and fucked them up somehow, but I was like, well, what would that body be that fell over?
Right.
Like, but
Yeah.
there was something for a sec where I was like, that would rule.
That would be way more interesting if it was
Yeah.
like this woman who's like debilitated from having cancer
Yeah.
is actually like living this secret life by getting
Totally.
made up to look like a healthy different person.
Yep. I was stoked about that.
That's a cool idea.
Yeah.
Well done.
I don't know why they dropped so many.
You came up
things
with
about-
something much better than what's in the book.
That's usually your role. So perhaps you're my sensei.
Sure. Yeah, sure. It sounds likely.
What was I gonna say? Oh, so yeah, I don't know why they dropped so many. The makeup thing seems out of place now, except for that I guess
It's
the
a mystery
girl did
book.
like gaunt shit on herself to look. But
It's a
she
mystery book. It's a red
pointedly-
herring.
Oh yeah, you're right. It is a red herring.
It's a red herring.
Red herrings.
There are a
Yeah,
million,
that's right.
but here's part of my problem. There are a million red herrings in this
Uh-huh.
book, and I found them not exciting and keeping me guessing and trying to think. At
Yeah.
first, I did. Like you're right, that woman on the boat being like, "Makeup works wonders." I'm like, "Oh, okay, remember that because there's a person who's missing, so maybe she's dutied up to look like someone else."
Right, it'd be fun.
But then as they keep going, and they're like, "We found a body."
Yeah.
And then later on, they're like, well, we found clothes. We found someone's clothes in the
Yeah, yeah,
ocean.
yeah,
We think
yeah.
it might be Lowe's clothes.
Yeah.
So they do this time jump. They do
Yeah.
like a time jump thing where we know that the main character, Lowe, is
Yeah.
investigating the mystery.
Which I liked. I
liked it.
I think it made a lot of sense because the whole thing with the boat was kind of claustrophobic. So it made sense to take you out of that every once in a while. I liked that
agree.
a lot. And it was also like, it was modern in a non-cheesy way. Like sometimes, or maybe there was like a dash of cheese, like a garnish or something. I don't really remember. But like sometimes when people, so they use Facebook is what I'm getting at. Like they talk about, since we read the audiobook, she narrated like Facebook statuses of Lowe's boyfriend and
Right.
her family, like being like, has anybody heard from Lowe? We're really worried or whatever. And sometimes that can be really corny and like people don't talk the way people actually talk. Like, I don't even know an example, but just something where you're like, okay, this person doesn't know how Facebook works.
Yeah.
But it was like exactly how you would talk on that kind of stuff.
And exactly
Yeah.
how like onlookers would talk about
Mm-hmm.
a big famous case in the news of a missing person where they're like,
Yeah.
I think it was the boyfriend. I
Yeah.
think the boyfriend got her.
Yeah.
Like
oh
saying,
yeah, they went to like a what's that site called? Web Sleuth site. It's a there's a site called Web Sleuth, I think, but they called it something else in this. That was a message board of people's.
oh, is that right?
Yeah, like it's like true crime, like armchair.
Nosy people.
Yeah,
Yeah, and I think that it was well
Rakshay.
done. Yeah, Rakshay is in the chat.
Mr. Robo Surrey.
How you doing, sir? I thought it was interesting and well done to do
this?
that.
I'm embarrassed now.
No, just do it again.
I made like a like I was doing a salute thing for people who listen to the podcast. It was
Right.
weird.
I thought it was super well done. And I thought it
Mm-hmm.
was interesting, especially because with a time jump, it's now telling us, wow, so Lowe's investigating the crime and
Yeah.
she ends up missing.
Yeah.
At the least.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Potentially dead.
Yeah.
But then they use that to be like, we found a body.
Mm-hmm.
And then like 3 chapters later they step back from it a bit and they're like, well, we found clothes.
Yeah.
We found someone's clothes.
Yeah.
And then you're like, all right, so that's
Yeah.
not the
So
same as
they're
finding
okay.
a body, so she's probably alive. Whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a mystery book. It's going to have red herrings. I think it just had too many.
Yeah.
And especially for a sloppy Joe payoff, it just kind of bugged me.
It was. You know what I also noticed that happened a lot in the beginning of the book? Lots of references to death. Like, you simply have to see the aurora borealis before you die, which they called back to. Or like
wow.
somebody would be like, I'm dying to try the steak tartare. Like there were a few things like that where I was like, I get it, but I also liked it.
I'm dying to try the steak tartare. It'll be the death of me. And then
I
perhaps
don't
I'll have
get to
some
try it.
devil's food cake. I like to live fast, die young is my motto. I like to roll
The
the
devil's
die.
food cake thing doesn't really work in there.
Dance with the devil's
Still,
food
no,
cake.
devil. You're still talking about the devil and not just like
I hope I
dying.
meet the devil soon.
Okay, anyway. And
I sure hope I get to meet the devil.
okay, that works because you would die, but they hope they go to hell.
Yep, that's exactly what they're saying.
Yeah, fair enough.
Um,
Oh, okay. One
What's
thing
up?
I'd like to point out. It's jumping ahead a bit, but William, did you listen to the audiobook all the way through?
I sure did.
Did you hear who the sound engineer was?
I did. You got to remind me, though, because I was like, I think I invented this person.
No. Terry Hogan.
Terry Hogan.
Terry Hulk Hogan? That's Hulk Hogan's name.
Oh. I was thinking because I make up.
Oh, that's one time I'm glad we were on video.
I make up names. I make up the name.
I know, you always name Terry.
I feel like I've probably called someone Terry Hogan.
I think that's Hulk Hogan's name.
I think it is. I think you're right, but I forgot because no one calls him Terry Hogan. But I feel like I had made up the name Terry Hogan, so it has a double meaning.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, that's fantastic. That was great news. I loved that.
I know.
Well, this was a good audiobook to listen to. Mm-hmm. What did you think of the?
A lot of accents.
The narration, plenty of accents.
A lot of accents. So I also listened to Ruth Ware's first book, In a Dark, Dark Wood, on audiobook, and Imogen Church also narrated that.
Okay.
And she was fantastic. I think she had a harder run of it with the accents in this one. Little Trouble on Judah.
Holy.
I couldn't have done better. Again.
I loved it.
Yeah.
I loved it.
So Judah is Lo's American boyfriend. And this is a British woman narrating it because it takes place in the UK.
Yeah.
And so the Brooklyn accent on Judah is a little tricky.
Lo, I love you. I want to live.
And
I
there are
want
like
to be with
Norwegian people.
Yeah.
And like, I was like, man, this is a toughie.
you. It really was. And
Yeah.
I could have listened to her speak in a fake Brooklyn accent for the whole book.
I know,
I wish
really
Judah was a
liked it.
bigger character. I hope there's a Judah spin-off so that I can hear a British person try to sound like they're from Brooklyn. I know. It's very... I'm not doing a great job of it, but it's very exaggerated.
Yes.
You got to work hard on it.
Yeah, totally.
I'm trying, Lo. Like it was rocky. I loved it.
I know.
I legitimately loved it.
Yeah, it was fun.
The boyfriend character I liked. But
I did too. I just don't know why everybody likes her. She's really not nice. Like, she's not nice to Judah at all.
No.
I just wouldn't be friends with her.
Worse than not nice. She's kind of a
She's like rude.
She's like a shitty person.
Yeah, yeah.
This isn't the reason why she's shitty, but just to set up like the way that we're
Yeah,
introduced to her from like the start of the book.
Yeah.
Is that she
Which I also think is weird. I don't think it's that useful.
No.
Because I would freak out about the woman being thrown off the balcony anyway without this. But continue, sorry.
Yes. She is an alcoholic.
Yeah.
And she is a what's it called when you don't sleep?
Insomniac.
An insomniac. And so those two things sort of team up to really fuck with her mental being.
Yeah.
Her mental well-being, like all the time. So she, in the first half of this book, really tried my patience.
I was about to say also, like, with her being alcoholic, so she's not like a raging alcoholic, and not everybody is. So
Right,
in
she's
that I like it because it's kind of
A
realistic.
functioning alcoholic.
Yeah, and she's not like constantly totally shit-faced or whatever. But what was I about to say? Oh, so I kind of like that because I feel like a lot of times, like, when somebody's an alcoholic in a book, like in The Girl on the Train, like this is a thing too. So I'm not saying either one is right or wrong.
Right.
But I feel like you see more represented in media, like in books and movies and TV, like the real hot mess alcoholic.
Yeah.
So I kind of liked that she was
Yeah,
like,
I like that.
Yeah.
And especially it was interesting because she would call it out, which I feel like was the character's attempt at diffusing anyone else pointing out her alcoholism. Like she'd be like,
yeah.
She'd be like, oh man, yeah, like I'll just drink until I pass out. Ha 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 ha.
When did she say that?
She said that a few times. She when she first got on the cruise ship, she was like, open bar and it's all free. So I'll be drinking all this tonight and they have to refill it.
You know what that was weird though? Like, that was a thing. It was really only a thing for like the first, like, I don't know, third to half of the book, and then just totally went away, which was weird.
Because it was only to set up
Yeah.
another red herring,
So that was
which is her.
right, because she is reliable. Like she was
A totally reliable narrator dressed
Yeah.
up as if she's an unreliable narrator.
right. But I thought I didn't love that it just went away. Like,
I agree.
it's just strange because it was very like alcohol was very present in the first bunch of it, and then it just wasn't like even referenced again.
Yep.
Which was weird.
Yeah,
I don't
I
know.
totally agree with
Yeah,
you.
like even if she didn't keep drinking the whole time, still it's strange that there just wasn't like it was just weird that it was all there and then not.
Yeah, it does feel like it should have remained
just a
like part of who
Reference
she
to it or
is.
something, or like, oh, I haven't even felt like drinking because I'm so wrapped up in this mystery, or I don't know, just something.
I would love that line, just like, oh, I haven't been drinking because I'm so wrapped up in this mystery. Anyway.
Anywho,
One of the things, though, that happens in the first half of the book where I was just like, not only is it like there are plenty of books and movies you watch where the main character is not likable.
Yeah.
But it's usually, I don't know, I typically feel more hooked
Yeah.
than I did for her. She can't sleep.
Yeah.
She's having a restless
Can't sleep,
night.
clown's leader.
So she goes out and she's going to her boyfriend's house in
P.S.
the
They
middle
don't
of
make
the
clear
night.
that it's her boyfriend.
No, not at all.
At all. It's just a guy named Judah, and
she's
you're
like,
like,
I'm at Judah's house. I'm standing under his balcony.
yeah, I was like, is that just her friend or
And
what?
so she's shouting up, like whisper shouting, like, Judah! Like, I don't know why she's not ringing the doorbell, knocking on the door. She's
don't remember
calling
that.
out. And then she ends up sneaking in and crawling into his bed and falling asleep
yeah.
for the first time in days.
Yeah.
One of the things that really tried
Well,
my
also,
patience.
one of the reasons that she hasn't slept in days was that she was robbed.
That's right. That's a big thing
yeah.
that we haven't even really mentioned
Yeah,
yet.
which is the thing that I was saying that like it was just not necessary really. She and so the very first thing, like, yeah, we're introduced that she drinks a lot and she is an insomniac, but there's an intruder in her house who locks her in her room and like robs the joint.
Which is a fucking horrifying
totally. It's
experience.
awful. Yeah,
and
yeah.
and it's pretty much her big central inner conflict that she's kind of working through in the book.
But I don't really get why. It's just like, I don't know. They use it as an explanation for something that I feel like doesn't need an explanation. Like, she's very freaked out about like hearing this person get thrown
Hearing someone
overboard
die.
because she was robbed.
So
It's like, well, I think I would be freaked out just on my own.
well, I feel like the author kind of did this wrong. Wrong is not the right word because you do whatever the fuck you want.
Yeah.
But I guess what I should say is a more satisfying way to play with that conflict is, so she was put in a very literally vulnerable, frightening position. She was assaulted. She was attacked.
Yeah.
And now she is going to be, for the rest of the book, trying to off and on solve this, what she thinks was she heard a murder.
Yeah.
And no one believes her. And it will eventually culminate in her being locked up yet again.
Yeah.
And there is a big bad guy. She's aware of who he is. The way the book ends is she pretty much just gets away and then hears about how the bad guy met his
Wasn't
downfall.
that so annoying?
It was very fucking annoying,
I
especially.
hate that we never even had a face-off with them.
Yeah.
Like, I don't even need, or just anything with him. Like,
Yep.
find out, like, what his deal is. We never saw him be a bad guy.
Yep.
At all.
Never once. We heard about
What
all
a
of it.
waste.
It was really awful. And
It was so strange.
And especially because it robs Lo of her character arc, because she really should have had the opportunity
yes,
now.
to confront her oppressor.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I don't understand how you don't do that.
I don't either. I thought it was crazy.
It bothered me in the way where I'm just like, you're taking away something that is obvious, but even though it's obvious, I would still get the satisfaction out of feeling her conclusion of her inner conflict.
Yeah.
And you're replacing it with a very flat anti-ending.
Yeah, completely.
A false conclusion that she just kind of like, it's okay, it's over. I'm safe.
So weird.
A real waste.
Yeah, totally.
Where when the book was done, there were peaks and valleys in the book. The beginning bored the shit out of me, bored me so much until she gets on the cruise ship, and then I was like, okay, awesome.
Yeah.
I wish we had started here. She's meeting the people. She's like having dinner with people and being like,
it's fun
who
to,
are you?
like-
What do you do?
Yeah.
I love that. I love getting to know
Yeah,
all
to
these
meet the
people in
people.
this confined place,
Yeah.
this locked room mystery kind of thing. And then there's the actual mystery. No one believes her.
Yeah.
Exciting.
Yeah.
She's trying to figure it out.
No one believes her. Exciting.
Exciting. She's got one person that she can confide in, but she doesn't know if she can totally trust him. Great. That's great.
Real quick, Ben, who you're referring to. So Ben is her ex-boyfriend who is also on the boat because she's on this cruise because she's a reporter.
Yeah.
Who is going to do a story about this. It's its maiden voyage. It's luxury cruise line.
Luxury.
Luxury.
I'm Robin Leach.
So her ex-boyfriend Ben, who is also a writer, is on the cruise as well. Okay, so they get drunk. They're going to go their separate ways because she has another boyfriend now. And he just reaches down her shirt and grabs her boob.
I forgot about that.
And that's like not really that big a deal. Like she was just like displeased with that.
She was like, Ben. Yeah, you're right.
What the fuck?
I forgot that was in the book.
Number one,
Because that is so fucking weird.
assaulty.
Yeah.
Number two, what kind of move is that?
I don't know.
And then it's just like done, and they're just like kind of like, friends again.
All right,
or
then
whatever.
let's continue to investigate the case, Ben.
In like an hour.
Yep.
Like she's like, oh, I was gonna see if you wanted to sleep on my couch because I didn't want to be alone or something. I was like, this guy just fucking assaulted you. What are you talking about?
Yeah, this book kind of
Ben
sucks.
would be out on his ass.
Yeah, you're right.
So weird.
Yeah, I forgot because the second it was happening, I was like, wait, what? What is going on? And then it was over, and I just, all right, this is fucking weird. I don't know. This is a really weird
strange.
book. But at least the general investigation is kind of interesting.
I really did like it.
And then once she gets kidnapped and stuff,
Mm-hmm.
bam, okay, here we go. This whole thing's going to wrap up. And then she kind of sort of gets away. And I
gotta
left
tell ya,
it feeling the way that I did at the beginning, where I'm just like, fucking boring.
I actually liked it. Well, I don't even want to say I specifically liked the beginning. I didn't mind the beginning. I wasn't bored by it. I liked the first 2/3 of this more than the last third. Like where the action should be ramping up, like her being in that room and stuff. I felt like it went downhill from there. Like
it was downhill.
Even finding out what the whole thing was and the mystery of it, even that was like not great.
Well, the quote unquote solution
I
to all
enjoyed
this,
like all the kind of digging around a ton, and
So
then
did I.
like the resolution of it was just like
the
what?
digging
How could
around,
this be?
the digging around without a doubt was the high point.
Totally, it was
Her
fun.
being locked in the room, it wasn't great. The answer was dumb, but
Yeah.
at least I was looking forward to the conclusion.
I was looking forward to when Richard finally catches up with her somehow.
Yes. And that didn't happen is a huge mistake. It robbed the book
It
of
is so
any
weird.
energy.
It's such a big mistake that I wonder what the rationale for it was. Like, why would you do that?
Maybe to defy convention.
I know that's the only thing I can think of, but sometimes
Sometimes convention is your friend.
totally. Sometimes there was structure to things because like it works.
Yeah. And if you're going to
Like, why would
defy
you not
convention,
have-
you better have a reason for it. Like
And a better reason than the normal convention.
like if
Like,
the
it's so
if the
weird that we
resolution
never
was
saw-
her writing an article about how sometimes bad things happen to you and they're not even about you.
Uh-huh.
Right? Like that would at least, if she was able to give us her point of view, and if her point of view was, an actual perspective where it's
Yeah.
like, sometimes bad things happen to you. It's not about you. This
Yeah.
isn't your story. You're just getting caught up in a mess.
Yeah.
This guy got his brains blown out and he was pushed off the side of a boat, and his mistress is going to get away with it.
Yeah.
And I was a side character in that story or
Yeah.
something. That would be vaguely interesting.
Yeah.
And at least I would respect the attempt at defying the convention for a reason.
Yeah.
But the fact that she just falls off the boat, gets away, and then hears on the news what happened
Also, I
is
thought they were
just
much
garbage.
further away from land when she fell off the boat. So I was like, how the hell is she going to get out of this one?
Well, they also said that she fell off the boat and that she felt like the icy pull of the undercurrent pull her down.
I know.
And I was like, oh boy. And then
This
it's like,
doesn't look good.
I opened my eyes and there was a friendly man. It's like,
I know.
all right,
I was
so
like, shit, does she actually die?
That's like a Goosebumps chapter break. Where it's just like I turned the corner and I screamed.
If only.
I
Love
saw a
Goosebumps.
spider.
Yeah.
The intro sucked because she sucks. Mm-hmm. She sneaks into her boyfriend's house and falls asleep. She
Her
wakes
morning
up.
routine sounded nice. I remember being like, this sounds like a nice routine.
What was that?
She like wakes up, she gets some coffee, she makes some toast, she starts to write for the day. I was like, this sounds like a nice day.
That does.
She has
sound
like a
kinda
small
nice.
studio apartment or so. Oh wait, I'm mixing up the two books. Never mind.
Okay. Yeah, I didn't remember that at all, but it did sound nice. I don't know.
That's in the beginning of Dark Dark Wood.
Fair enough.
Sorry,
Maybe that's
guys.
a better book.
It is.
Her
it
morning
is.
routine here is
I
kind of a
actually
stinker.
It's a complete stinker. I completely forgot. Yeah, she wakes up and she's like, huh, this gin and tonic is all gin.
Yeah.
That's not the morning routine
Yeah.
that I want.
And then one particular
I completely,
morning,
yeah.
she wakes up and she thinks that there's a man in her apartment.
Yeah,
So
no.
she grabs the lamp on the side table and smashes it into the intruder's face, only to remember, wah, wah, I snuck
That's my
into
American boyfriend.
I snuck into my Brooklyn boyfriend's house
Yeah.
and I just smashed him in the face with a lamp.
Yeah.
She smashes him in the face with a lamp. She knocks
Breaks
one of
his
his
tooth.
She flat out knocks. She doesn't break the tooth. She knocks a tooth out of his skull.
Yep. They have
it's
to hope
intact.
it'll reroot.
It's
Ugh.
intact.
Yeah.
They go to the emergency room. The doctor shoves the tooth back in the socket, which fucking gave me like a
I know, me
up
too.
my
I
spine.
don't like teeth stuff, nail stuff.
And the doctor was like, let's just hope it reroots. Which is like,
I don't like the idea. I know that's how they work, but I don't like the idea of teeth having roots. It really
no,
grosses me
I don't
out.
like the idea of this thing fucking growing into my head
Yeah,
and
isn't that
grabbing
weird?
onto me.
I know that freaks me out. I know
don't
that
like
if you
that.
were in that situation, that's what you'd be hoping. But
Oh,
like,
I'd be hoping it. Absolutely, yes.
it is weird
But it
that
would
you
still
could put
freak me out.
something in there
Yeah.
and it'll be like, oh yeah, it'll dig its way in.
Yeah, sure. Hey, did you know all the teeth that are in your head are just holding on? If they ever let go, they'll just fall out of your face. That's the implication. That's what I got out of it.
Yeah, totally.
Not knowing anything about the world.
Yep.
But she smashes him in the face, knocks out his tooth.
Yeah.
They jam it back in, and he loves her. And he's like,
Not mad at all. I mean, I wouldn't be. I mean, it's a mistake, but
Yeah.
he's like very chill about it.
and he's like, I want things to go forward with you and me, Lo. And she,
They also don't give any reason for why she's so hesitant. Like, usually when there are things like that, it's like there's some sort of context for, like, she'd been hurt really badly before. Like, I guess some people it's just how they are, so you
Yeah.
don't need a concrete reason. But it'd be good to have something because it's just like this guy absolutely adores her. She's not even like, I'm just not sure that I'm as into him as he is into me.
Right.
Like, what am I even trying to say? By all accounts, she seems to really like him. She's not even like, oh, I just don't want to go that fast or something. She's just like, no, I don't think we should be together or something. I'm like, why?
yeah, I would even totally disagree. I feel like she flat out doesn't really like him that much. Because
Actually, yeah, I think you're right.
Because she
I'm
doesn't-
obviously getting mixed up.
she doesn't really like seem to have any reason for why she doesn't want to be with him other than she just doesn't want to be with him.
Yeah,
and she
you're
has
right.
no obligation to him to have to be with him.
Totally.
He had turned down a job in America so they could be together.
Yeah.
All right, well done, dude. Like, that's very nice of you,
Yeah.
but that doesn't mean that I fucking have to be with you or anything
Yeah,
like that.
totally.
Granted, that's not what he's saying,
Yeah.
but just because she smashed him in the face with a thing and knocked out his tooth doesn't mean that she has to be all fucking
No.
lovey-dovey with him.
No.
But it was a bummer that she just like immediately would jump into, because she really does.
Yeah.
Like, this dude got his face smashed.
Yeah.
And then he brings up that he had turned down this job, and her response is like, well, congratulations. What am I supposed to
she
do?
gets really,
Fall in
like-
love with you then?
I know. And I was like, you just bashed this dude's face in.
Could you
do
maybe-
this a little bit more gently?
Could you like skate over this now and talk about
Let's
it
talk
another
about it
day?
exactly. Talk about it later.
Do you really have to do this to this guy on the same day that he smashed his
I
face?
know. I guess at least she gives him a blowy right after. But still.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, that was weird too, because
So
that
weird.
felt like a weird sort of transactional thing.
Because
She's very cold.
Because she's like, well, I'm about to go on this cruise, so we better do it now. And I was like,
That's
I don't know
love.
if she says it to him or in her head or something. I'm
I
not
don't
sure
know.
which one. But I was like,
she's just not very. She's not a warm character. She's
No.
not a likable character, like in the least.
Yeah.
Where I'm just like, wow, she really just is kind of like shitty.
I know.
She,
I don't know.
She like kind of treats people like shit. She doesn't seem to like really give a fuck about anyone.
yeah.
It-
I just don't understand why anybody likes her.
Yeah. I totally agree.
Yeah.
And so and
Like,
plus,
how'd you get carried a worm to her?
I know that is amazing. It is incredible that like the thing that this entire book hinges on
Yeah.
is that she has to pretty much make friends with someone at the end.
Right.
Like maybe that should be the arc where it's like I've never had to be nice to anyone before. Well, let's give it a
Yes,
try.
that would make a lot of sense.
Yeah,
Honestly,
exactly.
yeah.
I'm not a good person. I don't treat
Yeah.
people very well, and now I have to try to make friends with somebody who is the hardest person to make friends with.
Totally.
my
because
hostage
it's my,
taker.
Exactly. Yeah. Really weird. And then another theme that runs throughout the book that is kind of weird that I am like fine-ish with, but it just didn't. I don't know. Maybe it added something in a representation way, somewhat, because it's good to have people visible who have like issues or whatever. But so she has anxiety and she takes antidepressants for it, and like that's kind of a thing throughout the book. So it just doesn't really like
Yeah.
why. Like the only thing is that
I mean, it's real. You know, that's
what I'm saying. Like
It's just a touch of reality, kind of.
exactly in that way, but they use it as more than that somewhat because the cop I guess he's like some sort of like boat investigator. Who is that guy?
Boat
oh,
cop.
head of security. Boat cop.
Richard thought he
he-
could kill his wife, but he didn't know that boat cop was,
was on the
ship.
case. Yeah. He kind of uses it to discredit her a little bit. He's
Yeah.
like, well, you have those pills over there. So like, I don't know if you saw what you saw, which is bullshit. And then something that kind of didn't go anywhere that was weird. Like she was starting to kind of withdraw from them while she was being held hostage. And so Carrie like starts bringing them to her one by one, and she's kind of like trying to like. There's just like a couple lines about her trying to ration them out, and I was just like, what is this doing? I don't really understand why they're here. Again,
it didn't seem to do anything.
Yeah,
it was just a wrinkle.
It's fine for things not to do anything. Like, I do think it's good to have a touch of reality in there, like you said. And like I said, I do think it's good to just normalize people having things like that. But rather than just being like, I feel like you could just normalize it as her being like, I unpacked the things on the sink. My makeup, my toothbrush, my antidepressants, my whatever.
Right.
Like, why was it such a, not a huge thing, but like it was sprinkled throughout in a way that didn't really do much.
Yeah, I agree.
Like,
and honestly,
it was like, pointed but not. It was just kind of strange.
It was to do pretty much what her alcoholism was already doing. Because the night that she heard the splash and witnessed, the dumping the body overboard, was a night that she like publicly drank a bunch of stuff.
Yeah.
And so everyone knew that she was fucking like trashed.
Yeah.
And then the next morning, the concierge guy goes into her room, and not only had she been super drunk out in public on like whatever deck, but in her room, she also has a bunch of empty bottles in the garbage can. So I feel like, forget pills.
Yeah, totally.
Get her on, like, you weren't lucid last night.
Right.
You know, like, that should be enough.
Yeah, totally.
The pills were just, like, I mean, it was fine. I felt like it was innocuous. To like, I didn't think about it
wasn't the worst,
all.
but I was just like, why is this here?
But you're right. It's just kind of a redundant thing. And especially, like, with her being locked up at the end. Yeah, maybe she should be going through some alcoholism withdrawal.
Yeah.
Like that.
Yeah, I just don't understand why it got totally dropped.
Yeah, I don't know. It is weird, but the book is just kind of sloppy.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
There's just like a lot of stuff that's not tied up or doesn't really make sense, or like where you feel something building. Like, you obviously feel Richard's coming. Like, there's even a time clock on. She's like, he'll be here in 30 minutes. And you're like, oh shit.
Oh boy.
And then you never see him.
No.
Well, you see him because she's
you never
like
confront
hiding.
him. You never get his.
It's really unsatisfying.
Yeah. It's incredibly unsatisfying.
Yeah.
There were also just a couple of touches of things in here that I thought were cornball. One of them is she's getting a massage and she falls asleep on the table.
I like stuff like that.
I liked it. This isn't a complaint, but it was cornball.
Yeah.
She wakes up and goes into to take a shower,
Yeah.
but the shower's already running. And it's steamy in there. And somebody wrote on the bathroom mirror, "Stop digging." Oh, going the hole. And cool, like fun mystery thing. But the one thing I'll say against it is that when you find out who's behind all this and who wrote that message, I feel like "stop digging" is a weird thing to say. Like, when you start to have to acknowledge that a real person wrote that,
right,
it's a little dumb.
Completely.
Stop digging.
I know.
And that it was a warning to help Lo.
Yeah, completely. It's not a bad guy being like, stop digging or I'll kill you.
It was, stop digging, you're going to get yourself in danger.
It just doesn't make sense.
If you really want to help me, help me.
Yeah.
Come talk to me. Right?
Yeah,
Like, if you think you're going to save my life, come fucking save my life. Don't be creeping around writing, weird, suspicious things.
Oh, okay.
Go to
Never
her
mind.
room in the middle of the night. Who cares, man?
I thought you were talking as Carrie to Lo. Okay, gotcha.
No.
Yeah.
For Carrie, if she wants to save Lo, fucking just do it, man.
Yes.
Yeah.
Be like, hey, here's the deal. I'm the woman in cabin 10.
Yeah.
I'm okay.
It's all right.
I'm fine. Stop digging.
You don't seem fine.
But I am. I'll need to pour a little Schweppes on that one.
Yeah, get Schwepped away there. Oh, that's nice.
Can you hear the bubbles?
This show's sponsored by Schweppes.
Oh, if only. Oh, I'd love to get case of Schweppes.
Contact Schweppes.
Oh, boy.
Bobby and I might contact
That sounds smooth.
Tonka to see if they'll advertise their dump trucks on Will and Bobby Know Everything.
Worth a shot.
Yeah. Well, the worst they can do is say, definitely not.
No. Yeah.
No, I don't think that would help us.
Who are you, sirs? Yeah.
That wouldn't help us at all.
Mainly speak to adult men.
Yeah. So
You probably don't want Tonka trucks.
No.
Dunk trucks.
One of the other things that I thought was just kind of weird, if you're this super rich guy who owns a fucking cruise ship and you want to kill your wife, and you want to do it, the one thing I liked, they make a point of talking about it's in international waters where the laws are.
I know. That's pretty sweet.
I like that. I've heard it in other things, but I don't care.
Me too.
I like that.
Yeah.
It's always a question of like whose jurisdiction is it and
Yeah.
what's the legality of these things, who covers
Get
what.
this thing tied up.
So you can just kind of kill somebody out in the ocean.
Totally.
Go for it. Would you do it on your own cruise ship in your
Perhaps.
own room when the entire population of the ship is like 15 people?
Perhaps no.
If you tell me,
Maybe you want to widen the suspect pool on that one.
right? Mm-hmm. If you
was
tell
thinking the
me
same thing.
that there is going to
Doesn't make any
be
sense.
we're going to read a murder mystery book that's set on a cruise ship.
Yeah.
I'm thinking hundreds of
Total.
people.
I was very surprised that it was like 12 people.
I'm thinking like maybe almost 1,000 people.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm not thinking like when I heard it was the woman in cabin 10.
Yeah.
I didn't think there were 10 cabins.
Yeah. I know.
That's crazy talk.
That's a good pull quote for the back of the book version of the review we're doing right now.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
You're
the
absolutely
novelization
right.
of this podcast.
Yes. Yes.
When I knew it was called The Book and the Woman in Book in 10,
Everyone just rewind
I didn't
it.
think that it was going to be on this ship.
Everyone just what? What? All right, don't rewind it anymore. I want you guys to hear Kristen's thing. That's what's going on the back of the book. That is our review of this book.
It's the novelization of the podcast. Like when you buy the book Home Alone
Yeah, okay, fair enough.
when you're 10.
Someone transcribe our podcasts and make them a book.
It's a thankless job.
Yep.
But please do. I would thank you.
I would not.
If-
It's not a thankless job.
Well,
but
if
we're thanking
just
them.
my thanks is enough, then please.
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah, and especially that he's killing his wife in his cabin,
Totally.
and it's all bloody and shit.
It's
That's
just
the
messy
thing.
is all.
That's the thing. So we're told a bunch of stuff.
Yeah.
We're told that Richard said
Right.
he told his wife about his affair with Carrie.
Right. And she fell.
Is that there must
Yes,
have been
she
there
tripped
must
and-
have been something between those two things.
She tripped and fell and hit her head on the table and she died.
Having an affair. Whoa!
Ah! Oh!
She falls.
You're what now?
Whoa!
Yeah.
I thought there was some sort of scuffle or skirmish.
Maybe. I don't know.
It had to have been something. So
Yeah, there must have been a skirmish of some sort.
She falls. There's blood. She ends up dead.
Yeah.
He puts her body in a suitcase.
Yeah.
Here's a weird. Here's a question. A big question mark.
Sure.
Why does he put her body in a suitcase and drag it across the ship to cabin 10? He's got a balcony. Just push it over the side.
I don't know, to implicate Carrie instead of himself, like somehow to pin it on Carrie if somehow somebody finds out.
I like it.
Yeah.
Good
that's-
answer.
Yeah.
Okay. So he brings the body to cabin 10
Mm-hmm.
and they push it over the side. We're told all
Yeah.
of this.
Yeah.
How do you feel about the veracity of this story?
What, like Richard's, what do you mean?
Yes. Do you think that
No, of course he killed her.
he murdered her, right?
Yeah, totally.
Okay.
Yeah.
Here's the next wrinkle.
Okay.
Lo gets away,
Yeah.
and she thinks that Carrie ended up getting killed.
Right.
After she gets away, she hides for a while because Richard is so
That's part of what I didn't
powerful.
understand. That's part of what I think that's part of what confused me about maybe Anne being alive, because I was like, why would you not jump immediately
Yeah.
to that Carrie got away? Because you already know that there's a dead woman body in the ocean. Why was she like, poor Carrie? I'd be like, oh, so they found Anne's body.
Yeah,
Shit.
because they flat out they go like we dragged two bodies out of the ocean, and she
Yeah.
goes, "Oh my God,
Carrie
Carrie
didn't
is
make
dead."
it. I'm like, well, no.
No, if there were three bodies in the ocean, Carrie would be dead.
Yeah. so
One body
weird.
was already in the ocean. It's the
Yeah.
one you heard before.
Right.
The second body was a man, and we've
Doysville.
confirmed that it's that guy Richard who was
Yeah.
shot in the head.
Right.
Not suicide, by the way.
Right.
Murdered. Mm-hmm. And that's it. Those
Yeah.
are the two bodies that you're currently aware of, and you think that Carrie is also dead?
Why would that be? Well, I do think at first, I think they say it's two bodies. I think you don't find out that it's a man and a woman until they announce two bodies, and then they say that one of them is Richard, whatever.
Fine.
I think.
I don't care, though.
Yeah.
It's still stupid.
I'm pretty sure.
And
Yeah.
then she finds out that only clothes were found. So she's like, oh, so Carrie...
And they were, well, you know what? That kind of made, because they were her clothes because they switched. That was one of the few things that did tie up, because they showed Judah clothes that they'd found in the ocean, and he identified them as Lowe's.
All right.
The cops did. So that at least was a
Eh.
satisfying loop, because she and Carrie switched clothes. So Carrie was in the, wait a second.
That's
Why were Carrie's clothes in the, oh, I get,
because she swapped clothes. No, because Lo was wearing Carrie's clothes when she escaped the boat.
right.
Carrie was wearing Lo's clothes that were later found in the ocean.
Right.
So
So,
Lo
did Carrie
thought-
escape via ocean?
Yeah, see, this is what I mean.
I just realized
this is part of the problem.
Yeah,
Because
'cause
even Lo is like, oh, well, if my boats were in the ocean, maybe she swam out of the boats. And I'm like,
I guess she did.
man, it's a good thing that you weren't really investigating jack shit.
Yeah.
Because that doesn't make any fucking sense. Like, her thought process
why
and
did
all this, she was
Carrie-
like, she must have swam right out of her clothes.
Like-
Or maybe she got eaten by a whale, and the whale boffed up the clothes.
Well, I guess she did.
But ate the rest. Like, I don't know what your thought process is to put all this together to be Carrie's dead. Because we're supposed to end with this, like, a little bit of a thrill.
Yeah.
Which is, oh, it was just the clothes. Carrie got away. Whoa.
Yeah.
But the implication of that is, since Richard was shot in the head and it wasn't suicide, when Lo got away, Carrie got out of the locked cell thing, whatever. They had a fight. She got her hands on a gun, and she shot Richard in the head.
Yeah, it's also annoying that you don't know exactly what happened.
Yeah, I'm a little
so
annoyed by
irritating.
that.
Yeah.
But then here's my wrinkle, the Willy wrinkle, we'll call it.
Okay.
I want people to teach this in like philosophy classes, where they're like, "Yeah, this is Fermat's equation, and here's the Willy
Willy wrinkle.
the Willy wrinkle." I had already forgotten what it was. I'm also not sure that Fermat's equation is a thing. It might be a movie I saw.
Fermat's equation?
There's something like that.
I've never heard of that.
Don't worry about
The
it.
Fibonacci sequence?
Sure, that was it.
Well, are you talking? Is it a math thing or is it like a movie thing?
I like the Fibonacci sequence better. We'll use that.
I had a friend in high school named Taryn Lupinacci, and
Terry Fibonacci.
our math teacher always called her Fibonacci.
That's awesome. I love that.
Hi, Taryn.
The Willy wrinkle.
Yeah.
We're told everything. We don't see a goddamn thing. We're told that Richard.
Willy wrinkle.
We're told that Richard accidentally killed his wife, and we're told
Yeah,
that
it drives me nuts.
he was later shot in the head.
Yeah.
Is it not a reasonable thing to suppose that maybe Carrie killed Richard's wife with Richard, and later killed Richard, and took all his money?
Could be.
Because one of the final things that happens is that
Certainly
Lowe's
could be.
bank account goes up by £40,000, and it's because somehow Carrie transferred money to a woman that she doesn't know
I don't know.
without confirmation or anything,
Yeah.
because she has all Richard's money.
Right.
It seems reasonable to me then
I don't.
to suppose that Carrie's the bad guy,
You could suppose that, but I don't think that that's the case.
and maybe isn't the worst guy. She doesn't just want to kill everybody,
Yeah.
but she realized she had an
Well,
in here
I
because she
think
was
she's a very misguided guy.
yeah.
A bad guy in a sense, I guess. I do
Uh-huh.
think that she could come away from this and be a normal person.
I think
be
so.
like, I did a really fucking crazy thing when I was 19 or
Yes,
whatever.
and it ended up with me being rich,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
here
yeah.
we go. My life starts over now.
Yeah, and like not do that again because you did seem horrified by it.
Yes, I totally agree.
Yeah. But yes, you could suppose that because we don't know for a fact what happened with anything.
Wouldn't that be fun too? You know, here's
Yes,
the,
that would be fun.
here's
Yeah,
the other
totally.
thing
If you
that's-
found out that like she was finally able to, she was like, I was able to relate to Carrie. Like we both were kind of caught up in this man's web.
Yeah.
And they're like, wait, shit. No, we weren't. Carrie actually was playing me. She was the architect of this whole thing.
Oh my god!
Oh my god.
And-
oh my god.
Oh my god! Fuck. But like it would be fun too because Lo is supposed to be a
Yeah.
journalist.
Yeah.
How?
Oh, you're right. That
Here's
would have been really good if like this was like a story for her.
Yeah,
Ah,
another
fart.
wasted opportunity. How
is
do
a
you
wasted
not
opportunity.
do that?
I don't know.
And have her write the story about how Richard was the villain, but then privately to herself, always wonder.
Yeah.
You know, I only ever heard these things,
Yeah.
and now I've been paid off.
Ah. Yeah, that would have been really good.
How great would that be?
It'd be so great.
Ugh.
Yeah, boy.
Ugh.
Well, having said all that, I'd still give it a listen or a read if I were you.
I don't know if I would.
Yeah, it didn't change my opinion really. This is all ridiculous, but the fact remains I enjoyed the process of reading it, so that's fine.
I enjoyed my time with it.
Yeah.
I'll say that much.
So I'm
would-
going to keep going with my soft recommend, but
I might
what-
advise-
the holes that we've poked in it are large
Oh yeah.
and silly ones.
Swiss cheese.
A silly hole.
I would almost recommend people listen to this conversation and that's it. Just know that
Yeah.
there was kind of a mystery and here's how it ends.
But it was
and-
really fun, like when she was like meeting all the rich people, and that was all fun. So
it was fun.
Yeah.
It was fun listening to the Brooklyn accent.
yeah, I'm Judah, and I love her.
I love you, Lo.
I love you. Yeah, it was like that. Yeah, I
It was
love
awesome.
you.
It was great. I loved that so much.
So yeah, guys. So that was The Woman in Cabin 10.
Yes.
And guess what we have coming up next?
Oh wait, let me first put the book away.
Like this.
There we go. Yeah. So
Yeah.
so this is exciting
Look
for
how
one of
tiny
us.
I look on the thing.
Look how fucking big I look on the thing.
So, guys, if you're just listening, it's just a trick of perspective because William is closer to the camera. I look like I am like a third of Will's size. You just blur your eyes and pretend that you don't know how perspective works. Because I'm leaning back. Anyway.
There's a little bit of a perspective trick, but
Look, William, now we're good.
yeah.
I just sat up and now we're normal.
If you're watching it on YouTube, I'm actually 4 feet away and Kristen's an inch away from the camera. I'm this big.
No. Anyway, so what we are reading to round out 2016, have a little lighthearted fun at the end of what's been a very heavy year for us personally and us as a collective society.
Yeah, this will make everything better for us, guys.
Kathy Griffin's Celebrity Run-Ins. My A to Z Index.
Oh, boy.
So, guys, I already listened to this on audiobook. I got it the day that it came out, and I blew through it. And William knows me well enough that he ordered me a signed copy from Kathy Griffin. So now I own it in 2 different formats, and I am more than happy to read this in the physical book format mere week and a half after I listened to 14 hours of it.
And
it was a delight. It was really fun. I think you guys are going to have a great time. Let's see if there's a summary on the inside I can read for you.
And great news, everybody. I fucked up when I ordered the book, and I ordered 2 books.
So it's almost like you planned it, or the universe planned it for us. I think the universe planned it for us.
Well, I wish the universe would refund me that money for the second book, but
nah.
Yeah. So I accidentally also have a signed copy of Kathy Griffin's Celebrity Run-Ins, My A to Z Index.
It's so fun. I loved it. Okay. Kathy Griffin's Celebrity Run-Ins is Kathy's funny, juicy A to Z compendium of all the celebrities she has met during her many years in show business, and the book is bursting with never-before-told stories. Starting with Woody Allen and ending with Warren Zevon, Kathy Griffin's Celebrity Run-Ins is a who's who of pop culture. Leonardo DiCaprio, Nick Jonas, Kendall Jenner, Anna Kendrick, Lily Tomlin, Suge Knight, Barbra Streisand, Ashton Kutcher, Queen Latifah, Maria Shriver, Jared Leto, Selena Gomez, Meghan Trainor, Macklemore, Bruno Mars, Aaron Paul, Pink, Pitbull, Sia, Britney Spears, Taylor Swift, Christina Aguilera, and many more. Who would imagine that Kathy was an extra in a Michael Jackson commercial? Guess which one? That she and Salman Rushdie trade celebrity stories. That Donald Trump once drove Kathy and Liza Minnelli around on a golf cart. That Sidney Poitier has a wicked sense of humor. That Demi Lovato has none. That David Letterman is still scared of Cher. That Channing Tatum is as polite as they come. And that Tom Hanks might have the best perspective on fame of anyone. Kathy, that's who. And now us. I just said that part. It doesn't say that.
Oh.
Kathy has met everyone, and after reading this book, you will feel as if you have too. Kathy Griffin has seen it all. Shocking and side-splitting, Kathy Griffin's Celebrity Run-Ins is an indispensable guide to the stars from one of our most beloved comedians. Can you handle it?
Maybe. I understand. You know what? It's great. You can start your book. It's an A to Z. It's alphabetical. Awesome. You can start with Woody Allen. Do you really want your book to end with Warren Zevon?
What are you going to do, you know?
One time I met Warren Zevon, and he sang Werewolves of London.
I know.
The end. Thank you for reading my book.
Well, there's a like afterword. It's
There's
not
a
just
juicy
like
Warren Zevon anecdote.
Yeah, believe it or not. I was surprised that you know who Warren Zevon is off the top of your head. I didn't.
I'm amazing.
Yeah. No, there's a fun afterword with like a cue. It's good. It wraps up well because I was thinking the same thing.
All right. So everybody read the book.
Loved it.
Front to back, top to bottom. We're going to be talking about it in 2 weeks. Our final book club, Shmook Club of 2016.
Yeah.
Are we capping off the year right? Some of us think so.
Yes, we are.
Half.
Maybe then we can read Andy Cohen's Superficial, which I'm now listening to on Audible.
Maybe we can next year. A year from now. Thank you guys so much for listening.
Yeah, thanks guys. And watching.
To Book Club Schmook Club. Yes, of course. If you're watching this on YouTube, thank you very much. Hit the like button below. Make sure you subscribe. That goes for all you iTunes people too. Subscribe.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Get out there and share the show with your friends. If you enjoyed this show, the best thing that you can do for us is to get the word out there. We're a small little operation. We need your help.
Just us.
Especially now that we're trying a brand new format. So if
Yeah.
you guys have any thoughts about
let us
the
know
way
what you
that we
thought
ran
about
this
it.
show, yeah, send us your thoughts. You can talk to us about all that stuff on Twitter. Perfect timing. I heard that. It registered in the microphone. I heard that. On iTunes, I can make it even louder. Go ahead.
I'm sorry.
No, I'm not sorry.
It's the Schweppes.
I know, it's bubbly.
Oh, God. Okay, so I'm at Chillin' Kristen on all social media.
We're indulging in a little bit of the bubbly. Schweppes, all-natural black cherry sparkling seltzer water.
To go with the theme of our elegant cruise ship.
Yeah, of course. And I'm at Will Rogers 2000. You can also join the secret Book Club Shmook Club group
Yeah.
on Facebook. Please do. We have a lot of fun in there.
Mm-hmm.
And there was something else that I had wanted to say. What do you think it was? Maybe it wasn't that important.
Could it have been about our bonus shows?
Yeah, sure. If you guys enjoy this show, you can go to patreon.com/talkbomb to give a little bit back. You're going to get a bunch of bonus shows, and this one's important.
Okay.
The bonus shows that we
Yeah.
currently have in the feed, we're going to start cleaning that place up. The Book Club, Shmook Club, iTunes, Stitcher feeds, we want it to only be books.
Yeah.
So,
Just looks a lot cleaner and easier for people who are new to the show to look at and just see all book titles and not like half of a book, a lovely massage where I
Yes.
talk about my butt, and then another half of a
Right.
book or whatever.
so the way that we're going to do it
We're trying to tighten it up over here.
is that since we do this every other week where we talk about a book, in the off weeks, we typically do an off-topic, just fun show. We'll always have one in the feed, the most recent. So, for example, next week we have an off-topic show. I'm going to remove last week's off-topic show. So if you enjoy those shows, they're always going to be on Patreon. You can always get them there. If you don't want to join us on Patreon, okay, that's fine. You're going to want to
get it,
download those shows
Yeah.
and keep them forever on a secret hard drive that you can carry with you, little microchips in an Altoids tin. Bam.
Works beautifully.
It really does.
Yeah.
It's striking.
Yeah.
So,
Striking.
it's striking. I don't know. It's the first thing that came to mind. Yeah, so that's it for us. So thank you
Yeah.
guys so much for listening. If you, maybe also just a secret tease. I know that now we're just getting long in the tooth because I keep tacking on. And also. But I do like to tease little things, and this one just became a little more legitimate. We haven't been talking about this, but there's a secret project in the works involving a certain person here and a certain person there. Two voices that have been in your ears all this evening, and one other that should sound a little bit familiar.
Yeah.
And we're going to be working on something, and it's going to be a lot of fun,
It's very cool.
and it's going to be coming out in about a month. So you're going to want to come back and listen to this and be like, oh, yeah, I remember them saying something weird and cryptic.
And it's not going to be a podcast.
Yeah, right, exactly.
Something else.
Yes, it's going to be interesting.
Yep.
It's going to be a lot of fun. So everybody get excited, stay excited. Book Club, Shmook Club for life, Talk Bomb for life. We'll see you on the other side.
Yeah.
And we'll see you next time.
See you on the flippy flop.
But until we next meet, good talk, gang.
Meeting adjourned.
Ah.
Want to see my impression of a hot dog?
Yeah. Oh, it's a hot dog.
That's Robin Williams.
Your shirt kind of looks like a bun.
Or mustard.
Yeah, you're right.